was a damn solid sequel to Notting Hill. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. This is just a quick little movie review for Heretic, the latest offering from A24. There's been a lot of buzz in regards to this film from friends, just internet buzz in general, especially when it came to the performance of Hugh Grant. Definitely breaking out of the stereotype and doing something different. And there has not been much buzz in Australia, but at the same time, I was intrigued, I was interested, and I wanted to see what this is all about and also see Hugh Grant do something very different. Now, Heretic is written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, and it tells the story of when two missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints attempt to convert a reclusive Englishman. It turns out to be far more dangerous than they could ever have expected. And then shit just goes absolutely awry. Now, in terms of my thoughts, at first I thought going into this is going to be too hyped up, like my expectations are going to be way too high. I definitely enjoyed the shit out of this film. Few gripes towards the end and in the third act, but my god, this is something so different, but at the same time so thought-provoking. It just gave me the heebie-jeebies at the same time. Now, before I talk about Hugh Grant's performance, I want to talk about Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who play sisters Paxton and Barnes. They were absolutely terrific. Like I said, they're missionaries. They knock on the door of Hugh Grant's character of Mr. Reed, and then from there, things just go absolutely AWOL, but especially in the dialogue. It's not one of those things where he invites them in and things get violent. It's all in the dialogue. To me, this is like a hybrid of, let's say, a Tarantino film with heavy, thought-provoking dialogue with a soupçon of Home Alone and then also a sprinkle or a quarter of a cup of Saw towards the end in terms of the twists and turns that this film takes. But Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher, they definitely hold their own, especially going up against Hugh Grant's performance. Now, when it comes to Hugh Grant's performance, I love the fact that they utilize his British charm. Like, he still has those quirks that, you know, you'd see in Family Guy when they take the piss out of him. Oh, I'm so frightfully befuddled. He uses that. He uses that to lure that in, and that is always going to be his hook. But at the same time, he can flick a switch and turn absolutely horrendous, and that's what I loved. He was brilliant. The performances on a whole are brilliant. The architecture of Mr. Reed's house as well is something that will keep your brain on alert, trying to figure out how his house works, how he works as a character. Now, when it comes to the third act, it got to the point where it did the James Bond. Now, what I mean by James Bond is when the villain tries to explain way too much and treats the audience as dum-dums. And it was one of those things where there was no need for over-explanation. The audience is smart enough to figure out certain things that you could pick up along the way, whether it's visuals, audio cues, stuff like that, to go, I know what that is. I know what it is. And that's only a little pocket in terms of gripes that I have with this film. This film isn't going to be for everyone. Even if you are a horror fan, you know, it's not going to be for everyone, but it's going to start a lot of conversation. And one of those things when you compare the pair, oh, what'd you think of this? Oh, did you notice this? I noticed that. And again, that's why one of my biggest gripes was over explaining things where there were visual cues that you as the audience could definitely pick up. Bits of continuity that didn't need to be explained, because show, don't tell. Guys, I think your best bet is don't watch any trailers. Go into this as blind as possible. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it for something different, some different horror, but also a different take on something that has a lot of heavy dialogue, but thought-provoking dialogue, especially with some captivating performances. Now, as friend of the channel, Dave McRae says, what's the mood and atmosphere like? That was one of the biggest key points and one of the biggest draw cards for me when it came to this film. This all takes place on a stormy, snowy night. And the character of Mr. Reed's house just seems like it's in the middle of nowhere. And that's what I love. When all this stuff is going on inside the house, the beautiful Foley, the beautiful sound design, you hear it all going on outside the house, and it just gives you this sense of claustrophobia. So guys, in the end, thoroughly enjoyed this despite a few gripes I had in the third act of the film, but again, it was something so different. I was intrigued with the dialogue. Again, it had that very Tarantino-esque vibe to it when it came to the dialogue, where you were enthralled when Hugh Grant is delivering these monologues and comparing the pair with different religions. Again, this isn't going to be for everyone, but if you're keen, I highly advise you going into this knowing as little as possible. Surprise is the best when it comes to this. With that, I'm going to be giving Heretic 4 Jar Jar Binkses out of 5. Once you see it, it will all make sense. So guys, if you do get around to checking out Heretic, drop a comment below. and let me know your thoughts. I want to see Hugh Grant do more performances like this, just getting out of that bubble of what we know and love him for. He is great in this, but the performances on a whole are fantastic. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.